Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Hope you're well today. Today's Tuesday. It's November 15th. Back in the swing of things. I was in Vancouver last week on vacation with my girlfriend, and then I got sick. She got sick the day before we got back, and then of course I ended up getting sick. So I was down and out yesterday under the weather, but feeling much better today and glad to be back at it. Looking forward to today's video. Going to jump into the partnership news with HEXO and Entourage Health, formerly WeedMD. Going to go over this deal. Curious what everybody thinks about this as well. I did some digging on this, and I think it's overall a net positive, but curious to hear what everybody else thinks about this deal. Before we get started, though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on this deal. And like I said, we'll link to the chat. Always love hearing from you. So just let me know in the chat. What do you think about this deal? Are you bullish, bearish? Is there anything that you were able to dig up? And as a community, I'd like to take this time to just maybe encourage that we all look into this a little bit more. I did look into some of the ties and some of the connections that they have from Entourage, formerly WeedMD. But we'll get right into it here. So once again, thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. If you're just joining us, thanks for being here today. I see we have quite a few people joining us already. So thanks again for joining the live stream. I always appreciate everybody's support. And let's go. So the news that came out today, HEXO and Entourage Health signed long-term supply agreement. And this came right after they Entourage reported earnings today. So if you're wondering why that news came out today, it was more than likely because of the fact that they had that earnings, and then they wanted to release it all at the same time, right? So this is another partnership for HEXO, another sign that HEXO isn't going anywhere. This is a long-term supply agreement. So keywords long-term. So HEXO and Entourage Health signed long-term supply agreement. HEXO to provide bulk supply to Entourage over a 3-year period for multi-channel distribution. So we'll go through this a little quicker here. Most of you probably already read this, but essentially under the supply agreement, HEXO will provide Entourage with bulk dried MJ and soft gel capsules to be marketed to patients and consumers under Entourage's family of brands. HEXO branded products, including Gems, MJ soft gels, Readable gummies from Redican, and select Reddy's premium pre-rolls as applicable, will also expand Entourage's premium product offerings available to respective patients of the Starseed Medical and Syndicate MJ medical marketplaces. This strategic partnership will allow HEXO to better address the needs of the Canadian medical patients through Entourage's medical channels. At the same time, Entourage will benefit from HEXO's leading cultivation and processing capabilities by obtaining a consistent supply of quality produced top shelf MJ and soft gel capsules to meet Entourage's anticipated short-term demand. So again, this is just another testament that HEXO has some of the best cultivation, processing, and innovation capabilities in the market. And overall, I think this is a net positive because we'll go into this a little bit further here. But essentially, Entourage is going to be doing a more of a lightweight approach, right? So they're getting out of cultivation. They're going to be relying more on companies, these tier ones and the mega caps like the HEXOs. And HEXO is an MJ company, right? This is all they do. That's all they do. They're a cultivation company. They're a producer. They don't touch alcohol or anything like that. They're just a pure MJ play, right? And that bodes well for HEXO's long-term strategy, in my opinion, because it's focusing on that specific business model, whereas it's going to be good for HEXO's long-term profitability, in my opinion, but it's also going to be good for Entourage's profitability as well, because they're going to be taking a more lightweight approach and kind of, taking that extensive, that's going to take a lot of capital to do that. And then they'll be able to outsource this to HEXO. And in my opinion, with the competitive landscape that we're going into today, it just shows that, the companies that don't innovate or don't get with the times, they're going to get left behind. So if you're trying to be all things to all people or do all things for all people, in this competitive landscape, there's probably going to be a lot of companies that just don't make it, right? And like I said, this could be a trend. We were talking about this in the Power Group community as well. Shout out to Rashid. But I agree that this could be a trend that we start to see going forward, where we start to see a lot of the smaller caps start to outsource from the larger caps, right? So it's going to be an overall net positive, I think, for the industry, and a smart move on both companies' parts, in my opinion. So we are thrilled to partner with a like-minded company that has unparalleled understanding and dedication to delivering the highest quality MJ products to Canadians, said Charlie Bowman, the CEO of HEXO Corp. The relationship with Entourage not only complements our growing health and wellness portfolio, but accelerates our ability to grow our business and deliver premium MJ products to more Canadians. And again, just goes to show you that, they're picking HEXO again here, right? As they're a pure MJ play. and a lot of, Tyson 2.0 deal obviously picked HEXO. So you're just starting to see more and more signs that HEXO is going to be around for the long term and signing tons of deals. Like I said, Tilray is more focused on the alcohol aspect. So it just makes sense, in my opinion, with HEXO being the pure MJ play. If you like MJ, there's no reason really to like HEXO. I mean, people get into the finances and the loss and all that, fundamental stuff. But again, they're building for the future, right? They're building for a global domination. They're building at scale for the world. And not too many other companies right now are laying the foundation on a global scale as much as HEXO is. So collaborating with Entourage marks a significant milestone for HEXO in the Canadian medical market and highlights our commitment to addressing the range of consumer needs and market demand. We are increasing opportunity in medicinal and therapeutic products and believe that the market fits well with our high quality products added Bowman. We are excited about the opportunities with this relationship with HEXO to bring the medical MJ market, which provides greater access to our patients and consumers as we expand our Starseed and Syndicate medical offerings and distribution commitments, said George Scorsa, CEO and Executive Chairman of Entourage. Leveraging HEXO's cultivation capabilities will allow us to more comprehensively service all of our markets and provide patients with consumers with premium, consistent supply of MJ. Securing a long-term wholesale supply commitment for HEXO also ensures that Entourage is well positioned to meet the growing demand for its branded products as we continue to optimize our operations. So again, the key words here are long-term, right? And so many people saying that, there's tons of influencers out there. I won't name any for the sake of this video and time, but, saying that HEXO's on the brink of bankruptcy and all this stuff. And this isn't what the signs are saying, right? And as we know, HEXO had a much better earnings report last quarter. We're starting to see some signs that impairments have been taken, and then we could potentially, there's even analysts, I know Zacks has upgraded it to a buy, and there's even forecasts from analyst estimates that it could actually have a positive EPS in the upcoming earnings report in December. Should be mid-December, around December 14th, but we want to see official confirmation from HEXO. But essentially, it's looking really good over the next couple of quarters. I'm going to be really interested in the next earnings report and the first one in 2023, as that is when the whole sector could reverse. I did a video earlier today as well on CGC. CGC Canopy Growth confirmed a monthly uptrend the first time in 2 years, and this could very well be the bottom. Not too many people are expecting a monthly uptrend to be confirmed on Canopy, and I would argue that most probably don't even know what that means, or they're not even able to identify it. And that is exactly what I've been saying for the last couple of years, that we need monthly uptrends to be confident that the bottom is in. So the apply agreement provides a minimum annual purchase commitment by Entourage with the year-over-year increases. The prices of all products supplied under the supply agreement are fixed, but subject to limited and periodical adjustments depending on prevailing production costs and market pricing. So it's going to be dynamic. It includes exclusivity for HEXO in supplying the specified products, subject to certain exceptions, including Entourage's right to supply itself with such products. The supply agreement has a 3-year term, which can be renewed for an additional 3 years at Entourage's election on the same terms and conditions, subject to the increased minimum annual purchase commitments over the course of the renewed term. So again, that's 3 years that they signed for with an additional potential 3 years on top of that. So we're talking 3 to 6 years. We're talking that these companies are looking at. And most people don't even know if HEXO will be around in a couple of months. Just goes to show you that HEXO isn't going anywhere, in my opinion. They're already planning 3 to 6 years out, and they have there's no signs here that this is a company that's going away anytime soon. So obviously, WeedMD Inc. announces intent to change corporate name to Entourage Health Corp. So that was back on July 5th. So I wasn't that familiar with Entourage right off the cuff, but as soon as I saw WeedMD, that made more sense. And they are a pretty big player in the space. But as you can see here, Entourage Health reports third quarter 2022 financial results and posts $13.4 million in total revenue. So we'll go through this a little quicker here. I'm not going to go through it all, but this is essentially why it got released today, is because their earnings came out today. So a Canadian producer and distributor of award-winning MJ products announces financial results. Go through this a little quicker here. So they say in the third quarter, we continue substantial business and operational upgrades to meet steady demand for our adult products. Increase of 21% over Q2, which includes a 64% quarterly sequential increase in pre-roll sales, said George Scorsa, CEO. Additionally, with our expanded medical offerings and 75% increase in patients over the last 2 years, it's important we secure access to consistent product pipeline to meet the distribution commitments of our premium branded products. This newly announced supply agreement with HEXO ensures our renowned and award-winning genetics will continue to be part of the trusted brand lineup, Color, Saturday, and Starseed, and our shareholders, which they will appreciate the margin accretion as we optimize our operations and work to capture profitability in 2023. So HEXO forecasting profitability from 4 quarters from the Tilray deal. So that would mean that likely in the back half of 2023, HEXO's forecasting profitability, and we know that they're even forecasting potential of EPS positive here, so cash flow positive from operations as early as next quarter. That's what the analyst estimates are saying. So again, I think this is a net positive for both companies. We're going to see this help HEXO in the long term. It's going to be able to utilize its cultivation and processing and innovation capabilities. And then these smaller companies are going to be able to offload some of that burden and capital intensive aspects of their business, where the companies at the top like HEXO can really focus on that aspect. And then these companies can focus more on the, actually providing to their consumers. They have a steady pipeline, like they mentioned. And it's all trending in the right direction, in my opinion. So we'll go through this a little bit quicker here. So the supply agreements, they're getting rid of, phasing out the Strathroy and Guelph cultivation facilities. So this goes on to just kind of repeat some of the stuff we saw over here. I just went through. So the company also announced today that following an in-depth strategic review and analysis of the business operations, and something else to consider as well is that HEXO also mentioned that they're going to be doing white labeling for MSOs, so multi-state operators in the US. So that's something that we could see as well, based on how strong their cultivation, processing, and innovation capabilities are, right? And this is something that they've told us about many times. And after careful consideration, it has made a difficult decision to exit the cultivation as it outsources it to HEXO, right? And we know HEXO is outsourcing from Tilray for any market outside of Canada and the US. So they have fair game. HEXO has fair game in Canada and US. And this is just another example of that they can do whatever they want in Canada. And now they're signing supply agreements with other LPs in Canada because they have that free reign. But anything international outside of the US and Canada will be sourced from Tilray, right? So it's all coming together quite nicely here. But they're not going to source it from Tilray more than likely, because Tilray's not an MJ company, right? They're into alcohol, they're into distribution business, they have a health and wellness aspect of their business as well, whereas HEXO is just pure MJ, right? So I think this is all coming together nicely. A transition plan will be enacted over a 5-month period as Entourage winds down its greenhouse and tissue culture operations. The progressive exit is expected to impact about 35% of the company's current workforce, primarily cultivation staff based in. So this will obviously, sucks for those that are getting laid off, but this is just a common trend that I don't think will slow down anytime soon. And this will add to their profitability. It'll cut down on COGS. It'll cut down on their SG&A. So expresses his condolences and appreciation for the colleagues affected by that. So commencing in the first quarter of 2023, Entourage's cultivation is expected to be fully outsourced and fulfilled by the supply agreement. So we should see that 100% fulfilled by HEXO over the first quarter of 2023. Entourage's finished goods will continue to be processed and shipped from its processing and distribution hub in Aylmer, Ontario. Not familiar with that. So let's go through. As you can see here, Entourage Health Corp is a publicly traded parent company of Entourage Brands Corp, formerly WeedMD RX Inc. and CanTX Life Sciences. So you can see here, if you go to their websites, WeedMD takes you to Entourage Health Corp, same with CanTX. And this is the Entourage Health Corp website. We'll just scroll down here. So yeah, they got the press release on here, partnership with HEXO. I did want to bring up their management here. So we'll go to leadership team. I didn't look at the board of directors yet, but I did bring up some of their LinkedIn profiles. You can see the president and executive chair and CEO, George Corsis, 15 years experience counseling and leading high performing teams operating in many industries, including alcohol, energy drinks, and MJ. Previously CEO of Liberty Health Sciences and president of Metrum Health Corp and GM of Red Bull Canada. So notable there. Notable here from the CFO is General Mills, BDO Canada. We've got Shoppers Drug Mart, Canadian Tire. We've got CPG experience here from their COO, Joseph Melly. Brings over 10 years experience in CPG and worked at Kraft. So we got Loblaws. So it seems like it has pretty ties to some of these big CPG companies. Maple Leaf Foods. So again, these companies that start pivoting now and start pivoting their business model now because if you want to be, there's just not going to be that much room for cultivators, right? And the fact that they're pivoting their game plan now and planning for the future is very, very smart in terms of Entourage's part, and then also on HEXO's part, because they're doing what they both do best, right? And you can't be everything to all people. And those that really get down, figure out their niche, figure out their business model, are going to thrive, in my opinion. So here's their board of directors. Let's see if there's anything stands out here. So Gail, see here, 25 years of experience in public, private, and nonprofit sectors. So worked for the Ministry of Health. Let's go through here. So yeah, more from Shoppers Drug Mart. So Bruce Croxon. Oh, okay. He's from, Dragon's Den. I remember Bruce. So a dragon on the board of directors. I used to love that show. I haven't watched it in a while, though. Have to get back into that. Even though they're still making episodes, on what season would they be on now? I'll have to check that out. Behringer Capital. So that's pretty much it in terms of that. But wanted to go on here, just show everybody. So LinkedIn profile for George Scorsis. So Entourage Health, presently Liberty Health Sciences. So Red Bull for 4 years, 4 months. Bacardi. So big. You can just see all the ties to big alcohol and tobacco, right? Those are the ones that have the most to lose from MJ being legalized. Also, Plant Fuel, board member, Awaken Life Sciences, and then Canadian Beverage Association, board member of that as well. So that was notable. And then in terms of some of our other names here, so this is the CFO. So Chartwell, Retirement Residence, General Mills, and BDO Canada. And again, I encourage anybody else, if you find anything, let me know. But as a community, we'll go through, see if we can find any other connections. But it seems like they have very big ties into the CPG space. And this is their Chief Commercial Officer. So we've got Asahi Canada, not familiar, Starseed. Got Kraft Heinz Company. Moving on. Norman Wright, VP of Sales. Also, wanted to highlight, so British American Tobacco. And we know that they just signed a deal with Charlotte's Web. They also had a deal with Organigram. So British American Tobacco, more ties to them as well. Imperial Tobacco. So again, big alcohol and tobacco slowly getting into the space, right? And they're going to get into the space when we're in a bear market, that when we're in a building market, when the rest of the world is sleeping on MJ, especially ahead of the biggest catalyst of our lifetime, which is going to be legalization in the US. I think safe banking and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ has a 80 to 90% chance getting passed before the end of the year. If not, I would say in the first quarter of 2023, definitely in the first half of 2023, I would think. But I think there's a very good chance that it could pass here in a lame duck session leading into the end of the year. And then obviously rescheduling is very possible, whether it come through forms of Congress, whether it come through executive order, and administrative, developments with the Biden administration. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't want to get political. I don't care. I'm from Canada, so I'm indifferent. I just want what's best for MJ. And I do think that rescheduling is more likely. Descheduling, probably not very likely. Descheduling means it would be removed from the substance list. Rescheduling just means it would be moved from, Schedule 1 to Schedule 2 or Schedule 3. But we know that it would, if we can get it on the same, on the same playing field as alcohol and tobacco, that's going to be massive for our industry, right? So, going to get into the chat here. Let me know what you guys think of this deal. Are you bullish, bearish? Is there anything else that you saw that I didn't go over? As a community, like I said, if we can do some research, see if we can do some digging, find out what exactly, what other connections this company may have, either from a CPG perspective or other companies. Maybe ties to, Tilray or Adam RV and Chaos Capital. Just seems like everybody kind of seems to be in bed with one another lately. And, it's the whole world just kind of, you look at it from a coincidental perspective, but I just don't think there's very many coincidences. I think that the future is basically somewhat planned, and that's because there's puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, right? And just like tobacco, just like alcohol, there's going to be 5 to 10 big players, and I think that that's going to be the case with MJ as well. But taking a look at HEXO here, we are starting to see a ramp up in volume, but we're lagging here. Like I said, CGC confirmed a monthly uptrend with the low, high, higher low, and higher high. This is great, but we need to see the rest of the sector follow suit. And I see a ton of people saying, well, how come HEXO's not moving? How come this company's not moving? And, we get all these new, updates and news articles and partnerships, and we're not really seeing the move on HEXO that we would expect. But all I will say is that markets don't move down, together down to the week, the day, the second, the minute. Over the next few months, we should see the MJ industry trend in the same direction. And I think that's going to be higher. The more names that confirm monthly uptrends, though, the better and the more confident we're going to be in a bear market bottom being set and that we're entering a new bull market, right? So what we would need to see now on HEXO is a similar move where we see a high, a higher low, and a higher high, right? So still a long ways to go. We still haven't even broken the high of last month. So if we break 25.4 cents from here USD, this is on the NASDAQ, then we would start the monthly bounce, and then we still have a monthly higher low and a higher high. So again, still weeks and months of work to do, but I do think that into the end of the year here, we could see a massive move on MJ and including HEXO specifically. Again, doesn't move down to the day, the second, the minute, but overall, we should trend higher in tandem. The market should move together, the sector should move together, and we should all start to see charts on the monthly time frame look fairly similar over the next 3 to 6 months, in my opinion. And I do think that moves higher are more than likely. We know that the broader market, though, is fairly on edge at the moment. We know that the S&P 500 is likely due for a pullback, at least in the short term. I am short-term bearish, medium-term bullish. I do think we could see a massive end-of-year rally. We know that the dollar index, the DXY, started monthly consolidation in a big way this month, which I did a video on that last week saying it was the most important chart. And then the S&P 500 took off like a rocket, right? So again, we could see more upside into the end of the year, in my opinion, in a massive end-of-year rally, and couple that with Germany coming online next year, New York, if we get any kind of safe banking uplisting, rescheduling, descheduling, full-blown legalization, there's so many things that could happen in this space. I have no regrets going long on MJ, and I'll continue to dollar cost average, and it's money that I don't need. I still have a 6-figure cash position. I'm hedging with an S&P 500 short. I'm in fixed income and money market funds in my mutual fund and my retirement account. So I'm preparing for all scenarios, and I hold more altcoins at the moment. So more crypto in my portfolio dollar-wise than I do MJ. That's slowly getting to be about the same. But over the next few months, I'm going to be looking to continue to dollar cost average into MJ, and every new low, I'll be looking to be a buyer. And it's just a buying opportunity, in my opinion. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we are set for a weekly candle close over 18 cents at the moment, but it's only Tuesday. So, midweek tomorrow, still a lot can happen. But what I want to see is a 10-week, a close over that 10-week moving average at 18 cents. We're bullish on the stochastic and the MACD. We've been bullish on the MACD now for a couple of years. And we could see a big move soon, in my opinion. But it's looking good. We just need to get that follow through. We need to start the monthly bounce, just like CGC, and then confirm the monthly uptrend, just like CGC and Canopy, right? So nothing nearby until the 50 weekly moving average there at 38 cents either. And then after that, we have nothing until 251. So once this thing does start to move, we know that there's going to be leaders, there's going to be laggards. And like I said, there'll be times where CGC and Tilray are up 5-10%, maybe even 20%, and HEXO doesn't move at all. And then in a couple of weeks, HEXO will be up 15% and CGC will only be up 2%, right? So again, it doesn't move down to the day, the second, the week, but overall, over the next few months, we should see everything start to trend nicely in the same direction. And then the 200 weekly there at 675. In terms of the daily time frame, we're starting to see a lot of names set their potential for golden crosses. So if we bring up CGC, you can see here the 50-day moving average is below the longer-term moving averages. So when the 50 is below the 200 and comes up through it and crosses, that's called a golden cross. So over the next few weeks and months, we could see this potential golden cross form. And CGC, the fact that it's in a monthly uptrend, has been a leading indicator and name in the space, just like it normally is, right? So we'll continue to watch that. The more names that start to gear up towards their golden crosses, the more we can expect each individual name to do so as well. So HEXO, right now, trying to form a base of support off the 50-day moving average after forming resistance. Still haven't got above the 100-day moving average, though, in multiple years. So what I would like to see is a candle close over 20 cents. If we can close this candle over 20 cents, then that would be the first time. How long has it been since we closed the daily candle over that 100-day moving average? Yeah, it's been since February 2021 highs, right? Since we started the bear market. Then we had the death cross, the 50-day above the shorter term moving average, the 50-day above the longer term. That is called a death cross, right? So when that occurred, prices were at $3-4, right? USD. And then it went to 18 cents. So that death cross occurred. And now we're seeing the opposite, where we could see a golden cross, right? So just adding more confluence to the fact that the bottom could be close, might not be in just yet. But again, definitely getting close in my opinion. All right, I'm going to jump into the chat. Once again, quite a few people with us still after about 26 minutes. Going to try to keep this as short as possible, but let me know your thoughts and opinions on this deal with Entourage. Is there anything that I didn't mention that you wanted to mention? Is there anything as a community we can find out and look up? I do think that it'd be beneficial for us to all kind of put in a few extra minutes, see if we can find some connections to our Vivan friends. Yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. And jumping into the chat here now. So Renee says, hi, Rod. Thanks a lot for the info you give on MJ. You bet. Thanks for joining the stream, and my pleasure. That's the whole purpose of Power Group, is to uncover the truth. And I'm just a regular retail investor like all of you, right? So at the end of the day, we're all just trying to do our best. We're all just trying to provide for our families and ourselves and capitalize on this once in a lifetime and generational opportunity, which is MJ, and it'll only ever be legalized once. And just super happy to be going through all this with all of you. So pleasure's all mine. Thanks for joining us. All right. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining, Jatinder. Hey, Rod, welcome back. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to be back. Yeah, my nose is running quite a bit here at the moment, but we're powering through it. Just gonna have a drink of water here as well. But yeah, for those late joining, if you didn't hear, I got a cold. I was in Vancouver last week. My girlfriend, she got it right before we left, the day before, and then of course the day we get back, I got sick. So just a head cold, pretty much over it. Nothing to be concerned about. But thanks for that. Learned a lot from each and every video from you is full of knowledge. Thank you. And please, if you can answer, suggest coins you're bullish on: Solana, Filecoin, Helium, XLM, XRP, and targets. Yeah, well, I super grateful, super, it makes me happy that you're getting value out of the videos. I do want to say that I want to keep this one specifically for HEXO, just because I want to keep it as short as possible. But yeah, those coins, I wouldn't touch Solana. Filecoin, I'm very bullish on. Helium, I don't own any at the moment. I made some percentage on it and then I sold it, but I'm still not 100% sold on that project either. Not a bad idea to just, maybe somewhere around, 3 to 5% of your portfolio. I wouldn't go much heavier than that. XLM is my second biggest holding. XRP is my biggest holding. I think XLM could hit $3 to $5 in an alt season over the next few months. And the XRP, I think, has realistically a good chance of hitting around anywhere from $10 to $15 once the lawsuit with the SEC is over. New York teacher was wondering why $3 January calls went up 200% today. That's a good point. Could have something to do with their earnings, right? Because they're forecasting positive EPS in their December earnings, which usually comes in around December 14th. We'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO, but maybe they're expecting a beat on EPS, and that would turn a lot of heads. So it could be related to that. And then by then, the market should start to reverse as well. We could get safe banking, uplisting, rescheduling, descheduling, Germany coming online, New York. Also, January is the month that they have to regain compliance with the NASDAQ. So they have until January 25th to get above $1 for 10 consecutive trading days. So could potentially bode well for if they get above $1, if the sector provides tailwinds and we get positive earnings. That could all, we could easily see $3. My HEXO bag, though, I did a poll on my YouTube channel. What would your HEXO bag be worth if it went back to $3 USD? And there was a lot of people who said that it'd be worth $500,000. There were some people who said well over $1 million their HEXO bag would be worth. Personally, I'd be in the camp of about $250,000. So if HEXO went back to $3 USD, my HEXO position would be worth about $250,000. So maybe let me know in the comments. Always fun to hear from everybody. What would your HEXO bag look like if it was at $3 USD today? 2023 is the MJ year. I would have to agree. 2023, and yeah, we're still so early, right? Like even if 2023 is MJ's year and it steals the show, it's the talk of the town. The US hasn't even legalized it yet. So, we don't even have the Super Bowl ads. There's no MJ companies on the Super Bowl. If you look at the Super Bowl last year, there was crypto ads galore. Wait until MJ companies are ads galore at the Super Bowl. Wait until you see it on the television. Wait till you see it in events and things like that, right? Like we don't even have that in Canada yet. And here we are 4 years young, right? So after 4 years, we still haven't seen that in Canada, and the US hasn't even legalized it yet. So I still think we're 5 to 10 years out before critical mass. So 2023 could be a pivotal point and a turning point, and definitely could be one of the best performing sectors, if not the best performing sector, in my opinion. But we got to keep in mind that we're still so early. Will HEXO reach $1 by the end of the year? Your opinion on this, please. It's possible. Like I said, all of what I just mentioned, Germany coming online, New York, we got potential EPS positive for next month. Analysts are forecasting. We're getting all these deal partnerships. There could be even more deals coming soon. They mentioned a bunch of new products. We could see safe banking. We could see uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. We could see rescheduling or descheduling. There's tons of states that are coming online for recreational as well. And right now, the Democrats are controlling the Senate, which was the most important. And the House is kind of up in the air. So we're going to see. But with all the political landscape and everything that I've mentioned, I could easily see HEXO back at $1. But it really doesn't matter. We already have approval to do the 14 up to a 14-to-1 reverse split, which we know they did a 1-for-4 reverse split. It was supposed to be 1-for-8. And then because the whole sector took off and HEXO went from like $2 to $11, they decided to, that was after the split, but they decided to revise it from an 8-to-1 to a 4-to-1. So even if they did another reverse split, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. They cut the other one in half, so kind of give them a little bit of slack. But they're not going to get delisted, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue to get it back above $1 organically. What can you tell me on the chart for HRUN? Well, again, Rene, don't want to cut you short or I don't want to go over your question or pass over your question. I just want to keep this straight to HEXO, but I'll do another video where we can, do some ticker requests and things like that at some point soon. But I do want to try to keep this video as short as possible. But thank you for your comment. I'll get into that hopefully on the next stream. And I'm sure you can understand, but trying to keep it HEXO specific and cut down on the video time. Canopy dropped 3% today, which is weird, and HEXO is just sitting around the same range for a while. I'm hoping all MJ will appreciate by the end of the year with safe banking. Yeah, well, again, I see a ton of people say, today's activity was weird, or, the last hour's activity was weird, or even this week's activity was weird. Like stocks don't move together in the same industry. Like crypto doesn't move together down to the week, the day, the minute, the second. Neither does MJ, right? And we're going to have leaders and laggers. We're going to see where some play catch up, some play, they break away from the pack. But the reason why and again, if you're just looking at MJ or you're just looking at one particular name, you're not getting the full story. So the reason why CGC did what it did today is because it's the exact same chart as SPY. SPY broke to a daily higher high today, broke the high of yesterday, and then went into daily consolidation, losing the low. So it went from breaking to a new high to reversing completely and breaking yesterday's low. Now, if we bring up CGC, it's the exact same chart. So we broke to a higher high today on the daily time frame, and then we reversed and then lost yesterday's low. So it's literally just correlating to the broader market. And again, if you're only looking at MJ, if you're only looking at one particular MJ stock, you're only getting half the story. Well, not even half the story. I would say maybe 5 to 10% of the story. So that's why it's good to look at the broader market as well. But yeah, it's just correlating to the broader market. And again, doesn't really go down to the day, the second, the week, the minute. But over the next few months, we should see everything kind of trend in the same direction together, in my opinion. Great convincing way to put it that HEXO won't go bankrupt. Today I watched pretty much the whole hearing of legalization of MJ. Very interesting. Yep. Again, things are starting to heat up, no pun intended. And yeah, if there was ever a good chance to pass MJ reform, now's the time, right? And I do think that safe banking, for sure, I think it's going to happen over the next, few months in a lame duck session potentially. And then if not, I would say first half of 2023 for sure, because again, we need safe banking to pass so that these Wall Street crooks can get positioned before they open the floodgates to their clients, right? So we know that the Wall Street banks, the JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, all those companies need safe banking and uplisting so that they can play, right? And then once they play, they're going to allow retail to buy the top, they'll sell, retail will get crushed again, they'll buy the bottom, and then it's just a never-ending thing, rinse and repeat, right? But now's the time where we can front run those institutions and get involved while things are at astronomically low prices, which likely won't last for very long, in my opinion. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the stream. Running through this a little quicker here. HEXO retail investors are getting impatient lately with the stock price. Yeah, exactly what I said, though. You know, it doesn't move down to the month, the second, the day, the minute. And what does Warren Buffett always say? The stock market is a mechanism from transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. So while everybody is getting impatient, I'm getting super patient, and I'm getting greedy when others are fearful, right? Because you want to be greedy when others are fearful. You want to be fearful when others are greedy. Right now, everybody's fearful. Right now, the prices isn't moving. People are getting impatient. So I'm just going to outpatient everybody else. And like AJ just said, it's a great way to say that, you know, HEXO isn't going anywhere. It's probably not going bankrupt. They're in that article, they're thinking 3 to 6 years out and forecasted profitability from the analysts here next month, right? So again, while most people are getting impatient, this is where the true wealth can be created from those that are patient. So you have to decide, are you patient or are you impatient? Do you want to have the stock market as a tool and a mechanism from transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient? Do you want to be on the impatient side or the patient side? You can choose wealth or not choose wealth. It's up to you, but you can't have both of them, right? You can't be impatient and get wealth. Did Tilray acquire HEXO? No, it did not. It bought its convertible debt. So it's the biggest debt holder at the moment. If they later on convert into equity, they would own majority of HEXO, and there's no signs of that happening anytime soon. They're in a good position to just do nothing, collect interest payments, synergies up to $80 million potentially over the next few years between the two, or later on look at merging the two companies, converting in equity. But right now, no. I see a ton of other influencers saying that Tilray's buying HEXO. They don't know what they're talking about. So, but no fault of their own. Not everybody likes to do research and due diligence. It's not very common these days, right? I agree that people are getting impatient on share price. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, everything can be said about, a lot can be said about Oxley. Oxley just dropped to another lower low, all-time low, like 3 cents, right? Same thing could be said about Cron. Same thing could be said about ACB. Same thing could be said about Organogram or some of the US names, right? No, they acquired the debt. Yep, exactly. Thanks for answering. You bet. What is safe banking and uplisting? Sorry for so many questions. So safe banking would essentially give traditional access to so right now you can't even use credit cards to buy MJ in the US, right? So safe banking would allow funding from traditional, banks and things like that. So you'd be able to, companies would be able to go to banks and get funding and lending. And then not only that, we'd be able to see credit cards and things like that. You'd be able to buy MJ, because right now, if you go to the US, you have to use cash or debit card. And what they do with your debit card is they essentially treat it as a cash transaction, and they'll charge you the ATM fee on top of that. So you might say, well, I can pay with my debit card, but they treat it as an ATM fee, and they're charging you a fee on top of that. Plus your bank charges you a fee as well. Whereas with the credit card, once we get safe banking, you'll be able to use traditional, they'll be able to get traditional funding and lending. And then they'll also be able to use credit cards and things like that. And that'll also decrease the amount of criminal activity, because if they're operating as a cash business, they've got a ton of cash in their tills and on site. So that, helps with the criminal aspect as well. Not making those employees and those stores as big of a target holding that much cash. Uplisting is going to be either we get rescheduling to a schedule that will allow uplisting, or we get descheduling where it's completely removed from the substance list and act, and then it can uplist, right? So uplisting would mean that the US names that are on OTC, over the counter, or on the Canadian Stock Exchange, they'd be able to uplist. So the Trulies, the Cureleys, the Crescos of the world, they'd be able to uplist to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, which would be multiple institutional avenues and floodgates opening up, right? We know that Tilray had $2.5 billion traded in one day. And on that same day, Trulieve only had like 15 million or something like that. So that $2.5 billion that was traded by institutions and institutional investors and hedge funds and things like that, that can start to trickle into the Trulies once they uplist to the NYSE and NASDAQ, not before. What's your average on HEXO? It's around $1. Yeah, sitting at around $1 Canadian. Is it fine to hold HEXO in a TFSA? Yeah, I do it. I hold it in a TFSA. I'm not a financial advisor, a tax specialist, so this isn't financial or tax advice, but TFSA is more for the long-term holds because it's tax-free. So you're not supposed to do frequent trading in there. My tax specialist said less than one trade a month. One trade means you buy and you sell. You can buy as much as you want as long as you don't go over your contribution limit for the year. But a trade being buying and selling, that would be 2 trades. So buy, sell would be 2 trades, right? But you can buy as much as you want just as long as you don't go over the limit for your contribution. But yeah, I hold it in a TFSA in my long-term no-touch account. And then I also have it in my RSP, which is a shorter term account where you can trade frequently as much as you want. As far as I'm aware, says my tax specialist, because you're taxed when you take the money out, right? So it's just a way of you can game the system in a TFSA, and that's what the Canadian government doesn't like, right? So they encourage no day trading in a TFSA or frequent trading. And yeah, I use TFSA, HEXO. I just buy and hold. I never sell in my TFSA. It's my long-term no-touch account. Like I said, I have a long-term account with HEXO in it, and I have a shorter-term account. And I've got some profit, some target levels for profit. First one being $2.50. Next one being $5. Next one $7.50. Next one $10. I'll take profits at those, but I'm not selling anything in my long-term portfolio. I've got CGC, I've got HEXO, I've got Tilray, I've got Curaleaf, I've got Cresco, I've got Trulieve in my long-term no-touch account. I'm not selling any of those until the U.S. legalizes. You think HEXO will be able to provide dividends in the future? It's possible. Yeah, definitely possible. I'm not going to worry about that though. Let's get to profitability before we start, worrying about dividends and kicking back extra to retail investors, right? Because until we're profitable, that would just be a terrible idea, right? So no worry, you bet. Thanks for the information. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. Did HEXO confirm an uptrend? No, it did not. Haven't even started the monthly bounce yet. So need to get over 26 cents to start the monthly bounce. Then we need a high followed by a higher low and then a higher high. So again, CGC confirming the monthly uptrend, being one of the leaders in the space. Very, very promising. And we need to see more names do that. So the more names that do that, MSOS does it, if Tilray does it, if HEXO does it, then the more names that do that, the more confident we are in the new bull market beginning and the bear market ending. Yeah, so December 19th is the forecasted, and they're forecasting. Oh, did they change it? Is it negative 0.01? Let's see here. Thanks, Rashid, though, for commenting. Let's just bring it up. So if we go under financials, I usually use investing.com because it's the most accurate in my opinion. So they were revised. Okay. Yeah, so that must have been a typo or something. Because yeah, it says December 19th, negative 0.01. So yeah, that was showing positive 0.01. And then yeah, forecasting revenue at 43.76 million. So slight decrease from last quarter. And that's saying December 19th. But the last couple of times it was on December 14th. The last 2 times in December was on December 14th. And December 14th would be on a Wednesday. So that could be possible. The 19th would be on a Monday. Last time they reported earnings on a Monday. So yeah, I'd say it's anywhere from between the 12th to the 19th, but we'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO as always. But yeah, they did revise that. So thanks, Rashid, for correcting that. They are saying negative 0.01, but still a huge increase. You can see how we've just been getting substantially better over the last few quarters. And even I'd take negative 0.01 for sure. And they said they weren't expecting cash flow positive for the next 4 quarters. And that was when the Tilray deal finished. So one would think over the next 2 to 3 quarters, we should see cash flow positive. So that lines up well. But even if it came in at 0, that'd be good. That still wouldn't be cash flow positive, but it'd be 0. And, even if it comes in line with negative 0.1 or negative 0.05, all showing massive increases quarter over quarter and definitely trending in the right direction. And then with this new deal today with Entourage, I think it's good for both companies. Entourage can focus more on its lightweight operational aspects of its business and offload that, capital intensive and, just competitive landscape of cultivation, right? Where HEXO's, a leader in that. So it can excel at that. And then, Entourage can focus on other aspects of the business, right? Like the medical patients and having a steady pipeline. But yeah, so that's why I'm saying the next maybe 2 to 3 quarters for HEXO could be massive. And like I said, as long as we start to continue trending in this direction, I don't see any issues. Thanks for the update. You bet. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate everybody's contributions as always. Like I said, if anybody finds any information after the fact, make sure to let me know. But I would encourage that we try to look up as much as we can any connections to Tilray from Entourage or RV Even Friends, Chaos Capital. If there's anything, if you're viewing this after the fact, if there's anything I didn't go over or anything you disagree with or agree with, let me know. I always love hearing from you. Going to end it there though. And once again, thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. We'll see you on the next video. Looking forward to the next few months. Hit the like button on the way out. Yeah, I would appreciate that very much. I was just about to say, smash the like, share the video with anybody that might find value. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Click the bell, you'll be notified next time I go live or when I post a video, as always. But like I said, appreciate everybody joining the stream. Can HEXO get another extension? It's possible. I doubt it though. I personally don't think that they would. It would more than likely be a reverse split, or they'll organically get above $1 in my opinion. I mean, never say never. In the financial markets, I learned that long ago, but I would say that it's more than likely going to be. I would say that they're probably going to get above $1 organically, but if not, they'll just do a reverse split, which they already have approval to do so. All right, going to end it there. Not seeing any further questions. Like I said, appreciate everybody's contributions and comments. And again, if you're viewing this after the fact, let me know if there's anything that I missed or you'd like to go over, and we'll get that addressed. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great night, everyone.